We've reached our final chapter, chapter 13, The Survivor of Never Caught.
This chapter is bittersweet. It really broke my heart. Somewhat. December 12th, 1799, George ended up getting sick because he went inside with wet clothes on, and he developed this really horrible cough. And then 2 days later, he died. Good riddance. When he died, he had 123 slaves that were owned by him, and instead of freeing them, he justified why he wouldn't. He said that their families would be ripped apart. The elders needed to be clothed and fed. The young needed to be educated in reading and writing. So how could he? The only slave he did free, gave an option of being free, was William. Remember him, his favorite, whose body was broken by this point? He said that William could be free, but if he chose to remain enslaved, he would get $30 a year and not have to do hard labor. William chose to stay, and I think 11 years in 1810, he died. After George's death, it was now left up to Martha to free them or not free them. And Martha got scared, y'all. Martha was like, I got 123 people whose freedom are in my hands. Yeah, y'all can go. Y'all can go. She was like, nah, y'all free. Y'all free. January 1st, 1801, all 123 slaves were freed. Now, she didn't free the ones that she got from her previous marriage. Those slaves were gifted to her grandchildren. Heifer. This also meant that the descendants of the Custis family, which is from her previous marriage, now had the rights to go pursue Ona now that George was dead. May of 1802, the heifer died, and none of her heathen grandchildren freed her slaves. Heifer. While all this was going on, Ona and Jack were living their best lives, minding their business, with now 3 of their children, Eliza, Nancy, and a son who they believe is named William, who became a seaman at the age of 19. This is when it starts to hurt, y'all. During this time, the kids were getting older, and Jack had passed away. Ona and Jack had only been married 6 years when he died. Unfortunately, they were still in poverty, and so the neighbors came in and helped pay for the funeral because Ona couldn't afford it. This also put her in a bind with her children. Ona was now in her 30s, and she was having a hard time raising her children by herself. So as her girls became teenagers, she did what she dreaded doing, which is giving them up to indentured servitude for 8 months. After those 8 months were up, Eliza and Nancy came back from indentured servitude, and William went on to become a seaman. Eliza only stayed a little while because she went back into indentured servitude for another 9 months to this family headed by Nathan Johnson. When Eliza came back, she and Nancy were artistic, and they were selling their paintings and all their artwork to make some money. But it wasn't enough, and poverty combined with harsh weather and illness was a hard situation for them. And my heart breaks a little bit more because Anna's children died. February 16, 1832, Eliza died of an illness, and then a year later, September 11, 1833, Nancy died. Ona was yet alone again. In the 1840s, Ona learned to read using scripture, and she converted to being a Baptist Christian. And after losing everyone that she loved, she no longer stayed in hiding. May 22nd, 1845, the Granite Freeman abolitions paper grouped Ona as a runaway with Frederick Douglass. 2 years later, the Liberator published Ona's life story. And February 25th, 1848, at the age of 74, Ona died as a free woman. I am glad that she was never caught, but I am so sad that she didn't see her children grow old. She outlived her children. She outlived the love of her life. She lived a life of poverty, but she was still free. And it made me think of the cost that our ancestors paid so that we could be free. We sometimes take our freedoms for granted, not knowing their stories and what they sacrificed for us. It was more than their lives. It was their livelihoods, their love, their children, everything. So consider that this Juneteenth.